Good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be going over the history and geography of Chuquisaca in Bolivia. Chuquisaca is located in the southern portion of the country of Bolivia, with a little border here with Paraguay near the Chaco. There's a bit of Chaco landscape in this area. You can see that there's a panhandle area right here. This is pretty much, at least from what I can see on Google Earth, all farmland. Just a big farming area. So definitely a bit of that Chaco before we hit the mountains. This area all throughout here is incredibly mountainous. They are big, big hills and mountains within the Andes mountain range, making its way down South America here. There are lots of really neat cliffs and craters, and of course we'll look at them all on Google Earth later. But nestled in the mountains here is the capital, Sucre. Now, if you're a geography person, you might be saying, I thought the capital of Bolivia was La Paz, not Sucre. You would be right. Bolivia has two capital cities. We have La Paz and Sucre. And we'll talk about why that is in its history. Sucre is actually, the historic part of Sucre is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So let me get my UNESCO book over here. And we can read about the historic city of Sucre in Bolivia. You can really see the mountains here. It says, let's put it like this. Founded in the early 16th century, Sucre is an exceptional example of the blending of local architectural traditions with styles imported from Europe. There are many well-preserved 16th century religious buildings, such as San Lazaro, San Francisco, and Santo Domingo. The impressive Metropolitan Cathedral was begun in 1559, but not completely finished until 250 years later. In August 1825, the Republic of Bolivia declared its independence, and the city's name was changed in honor of Mariscal Antonio José de Sucre, who fought against Spanish rule. The House of Freedom is one of Bolivia's most important historical monuments, and many key events that led to independence took place here. It was originally built in 1621 as part of the convent of the Jesuits. Thank you, UNESCO book, World Heritage Sites. So yeah, let's talk about the history here in Chuquisaca. That's so bad. I've been singing Chuquisaca, boom, boom, boom. If you know that song, if you've seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Anyway, Chuquisaca. Of course, like everywhere throughout Bolivia, there were many indigenous peoples that lived in this area. The main groups that are in this area today are the Yamparas and the Mojocoyas. The area was pretty heavily dominated by Incan influence. And even though these people living here are not of Quechua descent, they'd speak Quechua language because the people in charge spoke Quechua languages. But people here really resisted the Inca. I was reading that the Inca resented them as well, and whenever they needed just like soldiers, they would scoop people out from here because they resented them a lot. And they also resisted the Guarani as well. From like the other side, you got the Inca and the Guarani. But eventually the Spanish would come. They would arrive in this area in about the mid-1500s. The Spanish referred to the indigenous people here as the Charcas. And Chuquisaca was the name of their town here. The Spanish took over this area. Of course, the people, just like they were to other groups here, were very hostile toward the Spanish. But that was one of the reasons why the Spanish came here, because you see, not far away, just a hop, skip, and a jump away, is Potosi. Potosi had, probably still does, the world's largest silver mine. At least at the time when the Spanish were here, it was overran with silver. And it was making Spain a lot of riches. So Potosi needed to be protected, and if there's hostile indigenous people over here, we need to keep them in check. So they came over and they established a town here on what was called Chuquisaca. They renamed the city to La Plata and created their own little outpost area. It would eventually become the capital of the Audiencia within the Viceroyalty of Peru. In the 1600s, though, this area was known for something completely different. In 1624, the Royal University of San Francisco Xavier was created here. Like it said in the UNESCO book, it was a Jesuit school that taught medicine and religion, and it was considered a very prestigious school, and many people would come from all around to study there, and it really became known as more of a university town center of education more than anything else during that time. Now we'll get into the struggle for independence, the fight against the Spanish for independence here when we're on Google Earth, because I'm going to show you the famous sites around Sucre that pertain to that, along with famous people from that time. So put a pin in independence. We will talk about that more in detail when we can actually see pictures and places of the events there. But of course, this was a very important area in the fight for independence. At this point, though, this area was part of the Viceroyalty of Rio de la Plata. They had switched it over in 1776. So many of the heroes that fought here are also considered heroes of Argentina as well. Again, put a pin in that. We will talk about Juana Azurduy and, of course, Simón Bolívar in a minute. But Sucre, like it said in the book, was named after Antonio José de Sucre, who was not only an important fighter during the War of Independence, but became Bolivia's first president. So they renamed the city after him. Bolivia did not have a good go of it. It's had its ups, but very many downs. And almost all of the downs have to do with politics. It was a very turbulent time throughout the 1800s. Sucre officially became the capital in 1839. And it was all very contentious. Political parties, rivalries, things like that. Many of the people in power lived in La Paz, and when they were starting to push for the idea of moving the capital to La Paz in 1898, it sparked a civil war, which lasted for just over a year. It ended with pretty much the capital being relocated to La Paz, but to appease the people here, because Sucre is such an important city in the history of Bolivia, its independence was declared here and all that. They made it the judicial capital, so the Supreme Court of Bolivia is located here in Sucre. But everything else is over in La Paz. So if you had to pick one city to say what's the capital of Bolivia, you would say La Paz. But Sucre is still technically a capital city here in Bolivia. And ever since then, it's been fairly quiet. This place got downgraded a lot. There was a bit of conflict during the Chaco War over here, once Bolivia lost more of its land and eventually lose its coastline, but all of that doesn't pertain to Chuquisaca in particular. There is a neat site that I'll show you on Google Earth as well over here by Sucre, where it's a sheer cliff face, but there are dinosaur prints on it. So really, I should have probably started the history there with all the dinosaurs. But we'll look at it on Google Earth. That's basically the history here of Chuquisaca. There is a big oil industry here as well, but I don't see it on the map. Usually they put little oil wells where there's oil being drilled, but nevertheless, I'll just take their word for it. Why don't we hit the lights and I'll grab my tablet and we will explore Chuquisaca, boom, 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 Chuquisaca on Google Earth. Let's go. Here we are in Chuquisaca Department. And let's start by zooming out so you can see exactly where we are in the world. Here is Bolivia, one of two landlocked countries in South America, the other being Paraguay over here. And Bolivia is pretty much in central South America here. Almost like right smack dab by the looks of it. And you can see the Andes Mountains here. You can see the Salar de Uyuni, the world's largest salt flat. You can see Lake Titicaca here on the border with Peru. And of course, lots of wonderful Amazon up here. But we are down here tonight. So as you can see here, like I said, this is like just farmland, right? There's nothing really here to look at. It is farms all over. But then we head into the mountains and you can see them rippling up, 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 up. It's so pretty. The landscape here is gorgeous. Just these big mountain ridges. I had such a time exploring this area. And then it gets very big and rugged once we get up here. Let's just head over to Sucre. I've got lots of history to tell you still. Don't think, yeah, there's Tarabuco and there's Sucre. Over here, by the way, is this big, cool crater. There's a town in it. There's a cemetery. Let me see real quick. There's all kinds of neat cliffs everywhere. See, look at these beautiful hills, and there's all kinds of upthrusts and all these beautiful wonders around. Look at this panorama here. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. You can see some of this. Like, these mountains are so neat. Just you can just see how jagged they are. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. But anyway, here is Sucre. I have some other little history bits to tell you. So let's head over to the Casa de la Libertad, the Freedom House. So this is a very important room. You can see Simón Bolívar up here. And in this little box here is Bolivia's Declaration of Independence, which was written here by Simón Bolívar, el Libertador, which Bolivia is named after him. This is probably the most important building in Bolivia. There's an indigenous statue outside of it. Yeah, this is the room where it happened. This gorgeous building here. Now this is Juana Azurduy de Padilla. And I believe these are her remains right here. You can see the flags of Bolivia and Argentina there, because like I said, she's also considered a hero in Argentina because this area was part of Argentina technically. She was a very important, technically a general. She was posthumously named general. You can see some of her swords here and her epaulets. She fought alongside her husband and led quite a few battles. Most famously, she was pregnant. I think she had like 2 pregnancies, I want to say at least, during the War of Independence. And during one battle, she stepped to the side, popped out the baby, and a few hours later, she was right back fighting. She was pretty legendary. Even Simón Bolívar said, "Don't name this country after me, name it after her. She's a baddie." She very sadly died penniless and unknown. She was just buried in just a random grave in some cemetery. And of course, looking back, they realized just how important she was to the history of South America. So her remains were moved here where she can be respected. We'll look at the park named after her. There's that. It's so cool. We're doing a concert here. That's neat. Gorgeous old buildings there. Buildings, furniture, woodwork. It is a gorgeous building. I love the window. Where's a picture of the right here? It's kind of Art Deco style in the colors of Bolivia, looking like the Bolivian flag there. So cool. Over here is the Jesuit school. So I think this was all part of the Jesuit school, but this part is one of the original parts of the building. This beautiful plaza here with the columns and all of that. The rest, I think, has been like really updated and such. And you can see where it's located on the 100 Boliviano there. Very important building to the history of Bolivia. Here, of course, there's the Plaza de Armas. Where I can go see, look at that beautiful, beautiful Art Deco window there. And there's a little UNESCO saying this is part of UNESCO World Heritage here in the park. With all the beautiful old buildings. Sucre is called the White City because many of the buildings are whitewashed. We look at the big cathedral over here, you can see that most of it's been whitewashed. You can see the old entrance here has been preserved. The rest has been really cleaned up and painted over. There's lots of white cities around the world. This is just another one of them. Gosh, there's a lot of things I want to... Oh, I showed you the park. There's Simon Bolivar Park. And then we need the Juana Park. I thought it was over near the Simon Bolivar Park. Oh, here's the Supreme Court building. This is what makes Sucre still a capital city. Hold on, Google Earth is crashing. 1 second. Yeah, because like I said, it is the judicial capital. Kind of like how in South Africa, how they have 3 cities for the 3 branches of government. This one has just the one. Just one branch, and La Paz has the other 2. What happened to Juana's Park? I thought it was near here. Maybe I was turned around and I was looking at it. It's not this one, is it? Hello? I don't think so. Let's type it in. Let's go park. Juana. Well, not Peru. I'm guessing this one. Simon Boulevard. I'm guessing it's this one. That's just a monument, and there's no picture of it. Isn't that terrible? Here it is. This is what I was looking for. There's her statue. Raising her sword. Saber, I'm not sure. And there's lots of flowers there for her, and it looks like, oh, well, they've got this crossing zebras here. So these are from La Paz. There was a very, very high rate of accidents happening in crosswalks in La Paz. So they created this program where the traffic zebras comes out, because in a lot of countries the crosswalks are called zebra crossings. We don't call them that in the US where I'm from. To help out in the zebra crossings to manage the traffic and help people across. And they're hanging out here in the park. It's so cool. We love the La Paz traffic zebras. Another historical thing I need to show you, let me close this out, is down here, and we'll look at the dinosaurs. The Glorieta, Castillo de la Glorieta. So at one point, there was an attempt to make a principality, La Glorieta Principality, in this area. And there is a prince and princess, but I think it only lasted 1 generation and it fizzled out. So there was an attempt to make a kind of monarchy in this corner of Bolivia and make it its own thing. And they built a huge palace, and it's gorgeous. like everything you'd expect to find in a beautiful palace, all the fountains and stairways, and there's beautiful terraces. But yeah, it fizzled out and didn't become a thing. Unfortunately, that'd be pretty cool if there's just a random principality within the borders of Bolivia. There was once upon a time La Glorieta, but it didn't quite make it. Over here we can find Cretaceous Park. Like I said last week, almost every place I find dinosaurs, I find Doraemon, or I find the Little Prince. This is definitely dinosaurs. We found dinosaurs out of the wazoo. There's dinosaurs everywhere, but that is important because here is the cliff face where there are, I think I read there were 15 different footprints. They obviously didn't walk up the cliff. This area has been lifted over time. I'm sure it was very flat and muddy. And you can see all the little holes. Those are dinosaur footprints. Let's see if we can get a closer look. And you can see this very much like uplifted cliff here. And they're all along here. I think this is the shadow. Yeah, that's a shadow of the cliff there. Dinosaur footprints. Look at all the dinosaurs. Yeah, look at that. Just meandering up, going across. All along the cliff here. All little bitty dinosaur footprints. Isn't that so cool? That's amazing. I'd like to see that someday. That's an alligator. They're dinosaurs, technically. They were around back then. My gosh, speaking of dinosaurs, I've got dinosaurs on the brain lately because my library summer reading program is dinosaur themed this year. And they didn't give me a list of books. It was you check off in the little box every 20 minutes you read, and I have to read for a certain amount of time. But I was like, I'm going to read only dinosaur books, so I started Jurassic Park the other day. So I've got dinosaurs on the mind. Just thinking about dinosaurs constantly. I love the movie. You guys know I've talked about the movie Jurassic Park. I had a friend who was in the movie, technically. But anyway, we can explore this area here a little bit before we go, because there is a lot to see. Gosh, this area looks like it's been dug out, do you think? Oops, we're almost in Potosi. Up, 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 up. We almost wound up in Potosi. Not today. Not today, Potosi. I did look around Potosi when I was researching that because I wanted to see. It's a very, very important historical place here in Bolivia and South America and Spain. Like, very important. What else can we see? I highly encourage you to poke around here because there's all kinds of neat stuff to see. Let's look at this hill here, Cerro. There's nothing really here. Pretty dry expanse there. Oh, I should show you. Not tacos. Oh, that sounds really good now. Where'd it go? There's the town it popped up. Oh, Tarbuco. Whew. This little town here is known for its culture and preserving lots of culture. It's really known for its market, which look at all the colors. There's so many pinks. This is the wrong pencil. Where'd my pencil go? It's right here. I got it. Wow. There's a colonizer getting beat up there in that statue. But yeah, this area is really known for its local crafts and indigenous culture. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? My goodness. Some really neat art. That's too many hands there. Too many hands. Beautiful valley. And Tarabuco. So you can see this is the flag of Bolivia. This is the indigenous flag of Bolivia. The plurinational, what is it? Plurinational something or other of Bolivia is its full name. Let's see what this museum is. Oh, too bad. I'm gonna need one of you to go there and take pictures and put them up on Google so we can see what kind of museum that is. Let's look at. I feel like I saw so many cool stuff just poking around. Look at this big canyon here. Wow. You know what I was doing? I was poking around in 3D. Isn't this gorgeous? What a landscape. There's a hiking trail there. Shall we see if anyone's taken pictures on this hiking trail? Yes, they found little cows. So cool. Let's see what else we can find. Let's find one more good picture. In this gorgeous landscape. It's so neat. I did show you the crater there. You can really see it. What's Tipoyo? Do you think there's pictures? Not a lot. Looks like a nice little community though. They have a little party there. Let's look and see what this is. Oh darn. Something. Maybe some kind of... I wish I could understand what that says. There's Cretaceous Park. This says it's something. No, darn. About this, because I feel like I found all kinds of things when I was around here. Aha, this was one of them. Let's end it here in this really neat cliff face here. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this style of content, please consider subscribing. Oh, look at the... Wow, some rock art there. I love rock art. That's so cool. Wow. That's amazing. Next in my series, we are headed over to... Let me see if you can guess where it is. We're going to a place that has the world's largest naval graveyard. The place in the world that has the most sunken ships. Do you know where it is? It starts with CH. Let me know if you know down in the comments. Your hint is that it's in the Pacific Ocean. Wow, okay. Touchdown. That's some neat art. Please don't forget to, oh, that's beautiful. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and let me know all your thoughts down below in the comments. I hope that you found this video to be relaxing and educational, and I hope that you have a good night. Good night. Good night.